All right. As a team more or less ventures into the next stage of events, you are more or less tasked with doing, well, your own tasks. After getting into the home slash new home, well, it's been a couple years, but new home nonetheless, of Dust and his family, you were introduced to random people here and there, but especially his parents and his younger sister, as well as his, I call her a teacher, Dust calls her a master, as apprenticeships generally do that. Himda, a very capable and powerful individual. However, at the exact same time, one wanting you to deal with your own problems. Not as if she's going to throw you into the wolves, but at the exact same time, took a look at your contract, and that's kind of what you need to do. And she's not going to do you, well, any further problems than would have already arisen. Sit on the task of completing the blade. Dust has already set forth to do that. In the meantime, Nikolai and Ada have decided to do their own things, at least for now. Nikolai has made preparations to head out to go see Jillian, and Ada more or less spoke with Opal about uh, maybe getting Amar and her together once everything is resolved, and more or less Opal saying that, yeah, maybe not the best person in the world should be with your best friend. Who's to say? But then they spoke about maybe going to the school. Well, not the school, the library. And heading out there for their own adventure. More on that maybe later, because I don't know if that's been decided yet. But with these tasks and roughly 2 more rounds of free time to go, other than the last turn that Nikolai is still in, we will see what happens next. All right, Nikolai, you had prepared everything already in the waiting. You told your comrades that you'd be going. This is roughly maybe 5 days into. Yeah, like 5 days into downtime before a month and a half happens. So, like, still pretty early.
By the way, did I take a camel to go there, or how did I travel?
You would
Yeah,
have
you'd
taken a
have.
camel unless you walked, which would have taken you probably more time.
Okay, gotcha. Camel.
Yeah. With a camel, it would have taken you 2 days, maybe 1.5 if you really booked it. I'm gonna have to say go ahead and roll survival, but
Yeah.
on foot, 3 to 4 days if you don't know where you're going.
I probably would have just like taken a leisurely pace, kind of making sure I just take in some of the surroundings. I guess try to clear my head before I get to. Nikolai's probably like sweating and like I don't know if he would have called Jillian back again on the road, or he's just kind of like on like trying to think how this is gonna go, kind of thing.
Fair enough.
Like someone replaying the scenario in his head, is like, I'm a demon. Oh, cool. I hate you, and she stabs me or something.
I don't know anything about that. But other than telling your friends or allies
Oh
where
yeah.
you're going, because I
You
don't.
just know, like it's like when you replay the scenario and you're like, oh, what's the worst thing that could happen?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You begin to make trek there. Changing the tone of the music because I don't know what will happen. So I'm gonna go with this one and
Okay.
pray it doesn't have any lyrics because I'm pretty sure I got them off of Death Note OST. Oh, and I had nothing on it because I didn't click it. Okay. Venturing forward into the next stage of events for you. Maybe not the rest of your life, but definitely something close to you. You managed to get to the next city without too much dismay, but let's see how long it took to you to get there. Go ahead and roll survival.
Okay. Da, da, da. Gotta pull up my stuff. Survival 15.
Yeah, everything's not bad. You were able to get there in time to roughly a day to a day and a half. If you wanted to take your time, you're more than welcome to it. If Nikolai just wanted to be pensive. However, you can easily make it there in a day. Since you know the route, well, not you, but Dust basically traveled this direction, so he could have easily told you where to go.
Yeah.
It's not even an issue.
I mean, maybe he's just kind of like, man, it seemed like Jillian's kind of like by herself, and maybe he started to go slow, and then he started like pick up the pace as he got like on the road. Yeah.
Managed to get there without too much of a worry. Still early in the month. You arrive there without too much of a concern. You make it into the station, put the camel by the side of the rest of the horses they likely carry while on patrol in the forest. You enter inside, and there you find the lieutenant of the area. A nice, spry, young, I believe he was an Asimar. And looking towards him, he does state towards you, since he already knows you. Lieutenant Weston does state, Nikolai, it's been quite some time. Can I help you with something? You didn't cause any trouble again?
Why would you think that I would cause trouble again? Oh my goodness.
Last time you were here, you were in jail.
Okay, I mean, fair enough. Okay. No. I'm trying to find Jillian.
She's coming back in about an hour from her main patrol.
Okay, well, I'm not really in a huge rush, so I just thought I'd spend maybe a week or two in town and catch up a little bit. So.
Go ahead, Nikolai, and roll insight. 19's pretty good. You can tell that this kind of man, this more or less abrasive man, has traveled and has seen a few things. So much so that he, fast-tracked into the lieutenant position. You can tell he can insight you, like, quite easily. And he does seem to be judging you for one reason or another. And, well, before he even says this, you can tell that this is coming from a place of kindness, but also rudeness, because you're doing something to one of his guards without truly knowing it. I'll let you decide how Nikolai takes it, but that's what you understand when he says this. Now then, you're more than welcome to that, Nikolai. But word travels fast, especially in a very tight-knit group, about things that go on. You're more than welcome to keep this problem, however stilted it is, for as long as you want.
I don't know if it's just me or okay, out of game real quick. I don't know if it's just me that, like, as a person, like, I felt like I was getting, like, my reaction was like, I don't know why you're trying to, like, tell me how to live my life kind of thing. I don't know. Like, that's how I took that. So I feel like Nikolai would say that, but I don't know if you, yeah.
Above game, just kind of to explain, he's saying, he's essentially saying, I will respect you, but just know that the longer you keep this, the easier it's going to be for her to find out. So he kind of already has an understanding of what's going on. It's just like, he's like, she hasn't found out yet.
I thought he was talking about her problem and not me as a problem.
Both, kind of. Just you are correct, but Nikolai, you are kind of correct.
Yeah.
I guess I can explain it better. Above game.
Sure.
From what you can tell, Lieutenant Weston knows what's going on in the lives of his teams. Like, he knows what Jillian's up to. He knows what his right-hand man's up to. He knows basically everyone as much as he can. He's a people person through and through. So he knows that you've likely have not been keeping in contact with Jillian for one reason or another. He may not
Huh.
know for what reason, but he understands that there's a problem there. And you stating, I'm not in a hurry, I can like hang out in town for a while, is to him admitting there's a clear concern and problem, an issue here. Better deal with it before anything else happens. I do not know what it is, but I will respect you in doing so, but I'm going to give you this advice.
Well, okay, Lieutenant. I'll just I'll take the things that you say, but I want to say something to you. I know you respect the people that you are superior of, and I think that there is something genuine. And I know I have my faults and they have theirs, but I want to make it right.
Let's hope that you do. Again, she's coming in an hour. Her schedule right now, thanks to her rehab, has been consistent throughout this few coming weeks. But you don't know that now, in case you ever want to return one of these days.
Gotcha.
Right. Good luck to you. You're
Thank
more
you.
than welcome to wait in our waiting room. He goes, no, back to work. He can only stay to chit chat for so long.
I'm gonna go. We're in. I can't remember. We are in Hythe.
You're in Hythe, yeah.
We started in Mythy, right?
No, you started in Hythe.
Okay, yeah. I want to go see the mayor.
I don't think you ever visited the mayor in Hythe. Oh, wait, yeah, you did.
Yeah, we did.
You robbed his place. Well, not robbed his place, but you broke it.
I want to see how he's doing and how his son's doing.
Yeah. He would be here at this hour. Going into the mayoral area, well, basically his house. I'm just gonna put you here.
Oh, cool.
Going to the area where the mayor can be found.
Peep.
You can tell that he's doing quite well. He's currently speaking with some of his guards. Over the process of listening in, unless you decide to interrupt at any moment in time, he does state towards them. All right, then, based off of everything we've already discovered, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. However, nonetheless, want to make sure that you patrol your rounds through and through. The guard then states, all right, then, sir. Other than that, though, is there anything else we should do? Yes, you also want to make sure that you see my son and how he's doing. I want you to take the current, this month's care package to him as soon as possible at the school. And then the other guard does state, don't you think you're being a little doting, sir? It's all in the name of, making sure he is okay. And he made this through and people helped him out. I want to make sure that he also has my support, even though I can't do so financially. I want to make sure that he is aware that I do care for him. After all, we lost his mother quite some time ago, and I want to make sure he still understands that his father's in his life. I understand, sir. All right, then. We'll make our rounds, make sure, and then one of the guards notices you, in the background. Oh, it seems like someone might need to speak with you, sir. But other than that, we'll make our rounds. All right, then. See yourselves through. They salute, begin to make their rounds. Different guards shift in, and the mayor looks towards you, Nikolai, because you were probably standing there for, a minute or two.
Yeah, I was just stopping by. Just thought I'd say hi, see how his son's doing, kind of general conversation. I didn't want to take too much time.
Yeah, you never personally met his son. He gives you the hi, hello, how do you do, kind of political thing. Yeah, he tells you that his son is currently in, not vocational school. Well, technically, yes. Magical vocational school after getting a nice grant from a benefactor not that long ago, but currently has been there for a couple months learning magic.
Nice.
He thanks you for your upcoming electional vote. There's the whole spiel. Things have been going well for him, from what you can tell, and his family.
Any strange news? Any kind of odd things happening in the town since we left, or like this is me kind of being like kind of leaning in a little bit closer, like, hey, anything kind of. You know how I work, so you know that if there's anything here, just let me know. I know that hasn't been any. I don't know.
He does state, "Thank you, young man, but honestly, the guards and the adventures
How
we
old
hire."
are you?
47.
I'm 43.
Younger than me. However, young man.
He just like broke him. Oh gosh. Okay.
No. He does state that the guards and the adventurers he hires will more or less see things through, making sure everything's clear and under control. While he had met you before, Nikolai, it was like once several months ago.
Gotcha. Okay. He probably didn't recognize me. He's does political stuff, so. Okay.
Yeah. Like the first time it was like, I need someone to take care of what's going on in the sewers. I'm gonna hire these guys because they're here. And then you guys like disappeared a few days after that, so he had no reason to remember you.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I thank him and just go on my way, and it might take a double take at the guy with no face that's over here.
He is looking at you, but the mayor does state, like he does the whole town gossip. Recently, there was a magical bust on a whole bunch of spell scrolls that were being exported out to who knows where, but thankfully enough, the guards were able to stop the last shipment, and questioning on that is underway. The phantom hero that had appeared some time ago has yet to be caught, but has yet to be seen for quite some days now. So it is presumed that they either disappeared or are currently doing something else. They're not entirely sure. Other than that, everything has been fine. You can tell he is hiding, air quotes, something close to the chest, likely personal. If you had to guess, it was, when you broke into his house. But it doesn't seem like to be something heavily on his mind, just like a concern he has, just not something he can really tell a random person.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well.
But the man with no face, well, technically, they're Nikolai, you're currently the way you are, so you can tell that for an instance, there is an image of a face there, plain, undistinct. Really no real features that stand out. If they stood in a crowd, they'd just be a random person in the crowd. But the more you look at them, the more that image of them breaks apart, and you just see shadows overlapping them.
Okay. Well, of all the things I've seen, it's a kind of a strange one. Is he watching me, like trying to like spy on me, or is he just like kind of like intrigued and just walking around?
Go ahead and roll another insight.
Okay. Yeah, that's a natural one. So.
From what you can tell, they've always been there ever since you entered in town. I don't know.
Okay.
It's that one weird feeling that, I don't know. As soon as you notice this, who knows how long they've been there. But they are watching you now. That much you know for sure.
Okay. It has been another. I mean, I don't know if I want to use that now.
It's been a day. You definitely do have it if you want to use it. Up to you.
It feels annoying. It feels like it's not that important, but it could be. But I'm not gonna use it yet. So, yeah, I walk back and try to look for when Jillian's back on her support. What is it called? Therapy thing. Yeah.
No, her morning goes into physical therapy. Her evening is her afternoon is patrol, and now it's just she's getting off the clock.
Gotcha. I meet her as she's getting out of work, kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put her here because it's a lot easier. As soon as you can find her token. There she is. Meet her out of this precinct, which I'm just gonna say it's this building, right there.
Okay.
Surprised because you didn't say anything.
I might have said, "Hey, I'm on my way" when I traveled, and I said, see you in a day" or something. I don't know. On the messenger stone, but I didn't say anything more than that, I guess.
Fair enough. You did say you were contemplating it, but you never said otherwise. But I will allow it. Surprised that you're here. Truthfully, that early. She does state, "Oh, Nikolai. It's a surprise, but a welcome one that you're here."
I mean, yeah, I stated, "Hey, I need to come see you." I mean, I said that I wanted to see you, and I think that it was important because I didn't know how everything panned out with the whole losing your partner and the explosion, and I didn't talk to you since the festival, and I don't know, I just wanted to do some catching up, and yeah.
Of course.
Sorry for not letting you have enough forewarning, but yeah.
I mean, it's fine. It's just I need to visit my father today. You're more than welcome to come, but afterwards, we can discuss if you would like.
Do you think he's gonna take that well? If if I come with you?
Truthfully, I don't know, but he's never liked a man beside me, so it's not as if anything's going to change there.
Okay, well, I guess so. I mean, off we go then.
All right. You could have just said no, but instead you're visiting her dad and her brother.
How
This
is
is
Nikolai
going to
gonna
go
turn
well.
down something? Why would he do that?
Is it going to go well? I have that feeling.
Yeah. Truthfully, I did expect you to say no, but I am glad you did.
Expected me to say no? Oh, okay, Dogma. Thanks for the confidence. Okay.
By the way you've been playing Nikolai, I thought you would hold back on any responsibilities you may or may not have.
I don't know if I'm a different person today. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I just felt like he's kind of like in a. I don't know.
That's fair.
He has been changing since, like, drastically since he fulfilled his contract.
Yeah, it's a very strange little, like, because he went on a roller coaster after, like, the contract got fulfilled. He's like, oh crap, I'm in, like, it was like the lowest point probably once his contract was fulfilled. Like, he was probably in the lowest point even after, like, well, before, like, once he had to fulfill the contract, he had a purpose. But now it's like, okay, his purpose was, I have to get back to where I felt like I was good. And then he did. And now it's like, okay, I have a purpose now, but I don't know how to solve it. But then I have somebody that I care about at the same time. So it's like people that I care about. Yeah.
Going with it. Let's see, I think it was Dust, Ada, then you, Nikolai.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be Dust now.
Okay.
All right. I just like ramble so I can get it out of my head instead of just like thinking too hard about it.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah. Ada, you go and speak with Fauna to go and see about the library. She's more than willing to come. Honestly, she's not doing anything here.
Nice. Okay.
More on that later. But Dust, what do you plan to do for the next coming weeks?
Okay. Well,
Remember, you only have one more thing after this, so don't take too long on making the sword. Well, not one more week, like one more round of things to do.
okay. So, I'm wanting to make kind of a minor item. And I want to make like a trowel, just a small shovel,
Yeah.
everything, hand shovel, and incorporate for added practice the spells mold earth and plant growth into it.
Those are two spells that could align, and both of those are elementals, so that is something you can do. Since Gretel is there, you would have advantage on the roll. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I'm just kind of doing that for last minute prep, so that I have a little bit more practice when I go into the blade. So.
Okay. With Gretel's assistance, you begin to make that as a stepping stone for the next event. Go ahead and roll Arcana with advantage. If you have... Well, 21 succeeds anyways. I was about to say, though, if you had your Tinker's tools, you could also do that. But 21 succeeded,
21's
regardless.
fine.
Yeah.
And then... So I made that, and then I'm going to be working on my sword. I'm on the blade, so I'm going to using the trowel and the holy orchid spike. The trowel, I'm going to call it the gardening trowel.
Classic.
Oh yeah, gardening trowel. And then the orchid that I made last week, I'm going to call it the holy orchid spike. Using those two, I'm going to grow additional
Wolfsbane, I assume?
Wolfsbane. And then I'll be using parts of the Wolfsbane for the hilt. I'll be making it like in this, do a cord, and then kind of working it in with the hilt so that it has the grip. But some of it I'm going to turn into a powder, and I'm also going to use that when I'm forging the steel as the carbon compound.
Yeah.
And that is, as well as the holly as well into that.
Yeah. Okay. So, based off everything you've done, this is a 3-step process. It's the smelting, the shaping, and the delicate handwork. For the smelting, you can either do... honestly, it'd probably be blacksmith tools. Or you could potentially do tinkerer's tools, but it would be at a flat roll. Since you are proficient in them, it wouldn't get any bonuses or anything of that nature. However, you do use blacksmith tools, which you now have proficiency in, I believe. You would have advantage on that part. For the... Go ahead.
I did not know I had proficiency in blacksmith tools, but if you're giving it to me, I'll take it. Because I had worked on a portion with Gert on just basically the finer details of actually making like steels and finer metals to actually be working on like with jewelry.
Yeah.
Like using just mundane stuff. But I don't think I would have had enough I didn't think I had enough training to actually be proficient in blacksmith.
In my notes, it has Dust has proficiency when making the blade. So I think I gave it to you when making this blade specifically. Because you trained for this.
Okay. So I don't have proficiency in blacksmithing with the exception of for this blade in particular.
Correct.
Okay.
I don't know why I wrote that down, but it makes sense to me.
Blacksmith for that would be a strength roll.
Yeah. But afterwards, you would need to make an Arcanic check while infusing the energies into it. That could either be done by Arcana, or again, Tinkerer's Tools, as you'll be using specialized tools to infuse the arcanic natures into it.
Yeah.
And the last one would be the delicate work, which would be small things here and there that you would meticulously do with dexterous means. And that one would just be... what did I have here? What was that?
My jewelers.
Yeah, jewelers.
Kit. Okay.
Yep, jewelers.
Okay. I think I'm gonna do Tinkerer's Tools for the first one instead of blacksmithing. Actually, because I'm thinking about it just in modifiers. Because I get a +7 with Tinkerer's Tools, whereas with blacksmith, I'll only get a 3 because of my proficiency bonus, and my strength is like a -1. So
Checks out.
So okay, I will be using Minor Wish in one of these 3 rolls. So, okay. So the first one is going to be Tinker's Tools.
Oh, yeah.
26.
You begin to work the metals without too much of an issue. Normally, if you didn't even have this set, it would be at disadvantage. But even still, with your skill check, you can easily bypass that. You begin to use your tools to smell the metal in a way that it is far more malleable than expected. You use a training with a dwarf beforehand to also flatten, curve, preserve the metal so well that the flaws begin to seep out without too much of an issue. The next roll. What do you choose?
Okay. So I can either do another Tinker's Tools or an Arcana check.
Correct.
Okay. Then I'll be doing Tinker's Tools, and in this, I will be infusing the 2 spells, Moonbeam and Remove Curse.
All right. Those are not elementals, but since you've been training quite well with your own skill checks and making things far more malleable than even Gretel expected, it would be just a flat roll.
Okay. And if one of these cannot be brought on with the roll, I would prioritize the Remove Curse. $11. Okay, well, can't really use Minor Wish for that one.
You begin to meld the blade work with the enchantments, but one of them is slowly not coming together. One of them shatters, but the other one does stay resolute. And I believe you said you wanted to prioritize Remove Curse?
Yeah, I wanted to prioritize Remove Curse.
Remove Curse is stabilized, but not exactly perfect. If you had to guess, if you do mess up the last one, it'll all fall apart.
Okay.
All right. And the last one would be your jeweler's kit.
And I'm going to use Minor Wish to take that 19.
You begin to make the blade, and it does take a couple of days. Hard working days of watching the forge. Normally you would have an assistant or something of that nature to do so, but unfortunately you have to do it on your own, so you more or less keep yourself awake. It does take roughly 3 days to complete the blade without too much of an issue. Thankfully enough, you had the material, and Himda had some stuff you could have also used. With those processes in mind, you took your time, took your dedication, and you have forged a blade. It's not exactly perfect, but it is the blade that you forged. It does stabilize at the end of those 3 days, and at that point in time, you can tell that it has cooled off, that you are able to put the filigree on it. You have forged a blade. It is not exactly everything you wanted, but it is something that's there. It does have... Dust, go ahead and roll for me 1d6.
Five.
It does have 5 charges of remove curse in it, and they replenish at the start of a new day after the setting of a moon. So it is something that's worthy of skill value, but it's not exactly your peak work. You do have more time, but the first blade has, I would give it an A, but not an A+.
Okay.
If you do believe that this sword is worth its value, you can definitely summon the other entity to you, but you do have more time if that's what you want to do.
I am going to attempt to do it again just to see if I can get a better result.
Okay. During that time, however, it will be in the next round. However, during the rest of this round, you begin to make more Wolfsbane. You begin to create more material or gather more material with your new, let's call them magical farm equipment.
yeah, very much farm equipment.
Now it's a good time to put memes on there.
You begin to work the field to get more minerals. You begin to also work it to get more things here and there. You meet some old people that you've met beforehand. You meet a few cousins here and there. You meet some family members that you haven't spoke with in a while. They ask you how you're doing, how's your day, and eventually Aurora does come over to see how you're doing. While in the field, she does look towards you and is happy that you're here. She comes over and she does state towards you. Brother, it does seem that you're doing quite well. I know Himda said that you didn't need help, but I am here if you need it. I've been training quite well with Mother and Himda. So if you do need a runesmith, I am more than happy to help.
Tell you what. I want to do this project by myself. This is something that I'm trying to gauge my own ability with. But tell you what. I have some sending stones that I want to make. I have the materials for them. I was wondering if you could help me out. Be willing to pay you.
Roll persuasion with advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not even paying. It's more like her older brother asking for help from the younger.
And then I'll also be like, and there are a number of other things that I also want to work on, side projects. If you want to help me with those, I'd be more than happy to help. I'd be more than happy for the help.
She does seem heavily excited. Of course. I can get these done in about a couple days. If there's anything else after that, just let me know. For the next round, you also have her assistance with side projects as well. Now that it's already been made in game, Aurora is a runesmith. She knows how to weave magic into non-organic material and some organic material as well. She's able to make magical clothing, but her main premise is creating these things known as runestones. Properties of magic imbued into, well, gems or jewels or quite literally stones to give magical effects. She's not a fighter, though, so don't put her into combat or she'd die.
Oh yeah, and that's one thing that Dust would not do is he would not put his sister, well, any member of his family into harm's way.
Yeah. I'm just letting you know what she is. Don't take her with you. She only has 20 health.
Highly skilled craftsman, but not much else.
No. Never had to. She lived on a farm and took care of your parents. Everything's all good. Like, she's happy with his life. She just, can't fight. You spend the rest of your week spending some time with your younger sister, meeting old friends and family members. Honestly, having a good time. Gretel's also there assisting you, getting you better trained for the next round of what is to come, but more on that later.
Yes.
Ada, what do you do for a few weeks?
Besides waiting for Opal to finish the teleportation ring, I believe that's what it's called.
Yeah.
I guess you could continue to study and wait for the letter she sent back in. Where was it? It was in Yepta. That's where we are now, right? No, wait. Did I get it right? Wasn't it Yepta?
You sent them to your
I said it to Amara's sister and the rest of her siblings. I'm just forgetting on where she sent them from. It was the... I'm going to just call it the Bazaar, because that's the only name I can...
You sent it from Wyvern?
Wyone. It really doesn't matter how you pronounce it.
No.
You sent it there,
okay, that's nice.
and they were going to be met over here in Yepta, which you're currently at. You sent them to Jonpra.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does take a few, days for her to complete it, but she is able to complete the magical circle. But before she is, you do really deceive. You do deceive the mailman that gives you a letter. Coming inside is a nice, tall-brimmed, newsy boy kind of looking fella. He comes in and goes, evening, folks. Do I have here a Miss Ada? I also have some mail for a Sir Gareth. Nope, that's next door. A Sir Dust, and lastly, a Mr. Nikolai.
Well, Nikolai is out right now, but I'm Ada. Hi. I don't know where Dust is at the moment.
Oh, that's quite all right. I'll leave him here. He takes one of them out because, it's your neighbor. But the rest he leaves towards you that, live here. Or at least are staying here. All right, then. Have a good day, miss. Say hi to the kind folks.
Thank you. I hope you have a good day as well.
Oh, indeed, I will. He heads off, and you begin to open your messages. You do have a few of them, 3 in total. There's also Nikolai's and Dust if you want to, break the law and open them. Actually, I don't think that would be breaking the law in that current era of time.
Ada has already done that once with Amara's note. She isn't going to do it again.
That's fair. You open the first missive, and it is from Amara's sister. It is written quite well. She would be maybe 15 to 16 at this age now. Very young, but not so young she isn't aware of the world. In the missive, it does read, "To those that may concern and read this letter, I hope you find yourself in good wealth and fortune. I have indeed read the letter, and I am more than willing to hear what has to be said. But unfortunately, I am in no position to make this meeting happen. By any decree that you may have, you may so choose to make this happen on your own. But I am one belonging to a house, not one singularly alone. So to you, if you wish to speak, then you must make this happen, as I still belong underneath my house. Sincerely yours." And then she has underneath Autumn Day, which is, well, actually, I never mentioned that. Amara's last name is Autumn Day. Unless you had a last name, Ada. I don't
I
remember.
believe it did. It was deep in our Discord chat, so I don't think.
That's right.
Yeah. I could probably find it, but we could continue anyway, so it'll just take some time.
Yeah, it just says sincerely yours, the true last name. Honestly, I wrote it. I wrote the last name because I couldn't find the last name.
No, it's
I'm sure it's there. I just couldn't find it.
yeah, that's okay.
It says the real thing. Not my panic. This is the name now. But yeah. The next missive is from your eldest brother, from what you can tell. And it does read, to who it may concern. Unfortunately, that is how they are. It does state, Ada, it's been quite some time. I don't know why you're writing now. You're more than welcome to visit, so long as you believe you have the strength to move and persevere forwards. I do hope that this is the case, otherwise you'd be bringing more pain into your life. You already managed to get rid of the thumb that was oppressing you during your adolescence. I do hope you're not making a mistake. If I had to guess, you're sending this to more than just I. So I do hope you're ready to receive a missive. Some find your actions caring and reckless, but overall some find them barbaric, as many of our siblings have been raised underneath the thumb of our parents, as you well know. And unfortunately, some have taken into the thought patterns that they show. So I do hope they write you well, but I wouldn't put it past them that they don't write at all. Do take care, and hope for the best, whether you decide to arrive here or not. And it just, underneath it reads, Big Bro. I don't believe he's the one that you had a nickname with. I believe that was your second oldest brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Ada assumed this was probably going to happen. Can she open the third letter?
Yes, you may. Well, it does say Big Bro / I'm honestly, the reason why I wrote Big Bro because I don't know how to pronounce this name you gave him. Azil.
Yeah, you said it right.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm bad with names.
No,
the next missive you receive is not from any of your siblings. It's from Mom and Dad.
Oh.
It's stamped
Okay.
in the missive of your, sister, but it is not your sister. It's your mom and dad when you open it. And it is not a message. It is a cantrip illusionary spell. In it, you do see reflectively your mother and father, images rising up from the paper itself. You would know these spells as Prestidigitation and Minor Illusion. They do speak to you in more or less unison, because they've always been more or less together as a team, dominating the family. But from time to time, they do take turns speaking. They more or less chastise you of where have you been, why haven't you made contact after all these years and months. We've been expecting you, been waiting for you. We've already had things prepared on your arrival after your little clandestine meeting with your expected other. News did travel that you were dead, but according to the missives we recently received, that is clearly not the case, so you've been gallivanting everywhere. But then they take their turns speaking one by one. Your mother does state, regardless of your current actions, we do expect you to be arriving soon. You have responsibilities, as you already well know. to the family and to everything that lies in wait for you. We don't expect you to be that long, but I will give you some time, say 3 months to get here. I'm sure by that time you will have your little fantasies realized and understand that your responsibilities outweigh your wings being spread out. Your father then speaks. Regardless of anything that happens, I am glad that you are alive. But all this time wandering without any purpose, all this time wandering without any real purpose, mind you, I understand that you came out and went out to be a soldier to help out your comrades, your loved one, and the one we had chosen for you to be with. That is all well and good, but the moment in time you decided to leave, and the moment in time you decided to falsify your death, that is the time you decided to destroy your own life. We're more than willing to pick it back up and shape it back to what it once was. Minus a few things here and there. You've already besmirched your name. There's only so much we can clean up. We do hope you can make it here soon. At the very least, soon enough, so we can get started. Don't disappoint us again. And then immediately, the images disperse and disappear.
Great. All right. Ada's just gonna put the letters down. She's just gonna fold them up and put them back in the envelope. Can she grab Dust's letter and go try and find him?
Yeah. When you grab the letter and go into the hallway where Gretel and Dust and, parents are all speaking, Whisper, Fauna, and Opal are there. Opal does state, all right, have the magic circle ready? I can't cast it, but, someone with magic is able to use it. She, gives you the magical scroll she has bought. All right, Ada, when we get to the library, and we need to head back, use the scroll and we can make it back here without too much of an issue.
All right. Okay. Hey, Dust.
Yes.
You have some mail.
Oh,
He's gonna toss in the envelope.
Oh, thank you. And if you are going to the library, not a big thing, but if you happen to find some details about creating Warforge, if you could possibly get me some information on that, that'd be great. I would go myself, but a little tied up.
Yeah, sure, I could do that for you.
You give him the missive and probably Nikolai's missive as well, in case he comes back early.
Yeah.
Out of game.
Uh-huh.
About the 3 months thing, is it just since she got in the letter she has 3 months now, or does she have less than 3 months at this point?
Probably 3 months since you got the letter. The letter was sent out based off of the date 2 days ago, so 3 months to 2 months and 28 days.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, you have plenty of time. It's just the time frame they gave you. You are a grown person, by the way, Ada. You can ignore it if you choose to.
Right, okay. Out of game as a player, I don't know what I would do in this situation.
Above game, I'm just sitting there just listening. Oh, we're so disappointed in you and you faked your own death, and it's
she didn't mean to.
She didn't fake her own death. She did die. I would almost with Ada.
She actually died. She didn't
I
fake it.
actually, just to spite them, she goes in and they're just oh, you're back, and now it's just no, I'm dead. I'm an undead right now.
Well, she actually technically now she's died twice.
Yeah, she's died twice.
I wasn't gonna bring it up, but yeah, she's eating death by this point, man.
And then you can all we can get some sort of we have documentation saying that we're working for the kingdom, for the king, and it's oh yeah, no, she's working for the king right now, and it's like, like there is so much that we can do that would just put that would just put them in their place because of just how crazy everything has been.
Like there's one part of me as a player. It's like, oh, Ada probably would try to help the guys with the time she has left, and then go back to her family while trying to turn herself back to the human. While the other part is like, yo, let's just make Ada rebellious for some reason, because all of this is just false information that she's getting. And she still doesn't know half of it, so
Yeah.
I'm in between cross paths.
Yeah.
I will say this: Dust will be all about like worthless, not what the a lot.
But yeah, you're honestly more than welcome to ignore it if that's what you believe Ada will do.
I'm gonna have to think about that. All right, sorry about that. I just had to pull that out for a second. I'm like,
It's not an issue. But Opal does state. All right, library then?
If you guys are ready to go, then let's do it.
I think so. Looks towards actually, you don't know this part. I'm gonna make reference of it now. I think so. If Mom will let me leave. Looks towards Luck.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
So Ada's more or less turn is up, and then she's gonna go to the library. However, Fauna's turn is now, because I did say I would make a reference to it this session. So, arriving here, cut back to first day. Dust told that, eldest daughter is alive and currently looking to see how things are going. Cry, 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 which is a lot of crying. They return back a while later. Everyone more or less tells Himda that they're going to be here for about a month and a half, maybe 2 months, depending on what's going to happen. Himda does basically say to everyone, all right, more than welcome to stay here for as long as you want. In the meantime, Dust will have to do this alone, the blade specifically. Everyone understands more or less, and people begin to mingle and go about their day. Later on in the day, Luck comes over towards Fauna because, you make the rounds with people, and she does state, oh, my, you're quite young, quite brittle. Oh, you poor thing, you really need to eat. Fauna then states, I do eat. Oh, but you clearly need to eat more. Oh, my son, he clearly hasn't been feeding you that well. I'm sure your mother and father try, but... and then she, more or less abruptly cuts her off. What do you mean? Well, I'm sure your parents raised you quite right, as best they could. No, not really. What do you mean by that? Fauna then tells her story.
Oh, she's gonna be
And then Luck immediately, latches on to the, air quotes, lost child, full-grown adult. And then, basically states, don't worry, dear. I'll be your mother. Okay. Fauna not really understanding, accepted the title.
I have a new.
I love that.
I'm not gonna roleplay it out, but Fauna and Luck and Aurora have been getting along quite well. From time to time, you do see Fauna heading towards Luck.
Fauna has a stepsister.
Discussing some things. Fauna has been learning to cook by Dust's mother, and in roughly next round, she will be fully legally adopted by Luck.
My goodness.
Yay! Yes.
My stepsister.
No, this is worth it. This is worth the time. It's worth the turn.
That's her turn. Honestly, Whisper has been going out, getting some information here and there, coming back. Opal has been doing her own things, collecting materials for who knows what, unless one of you spied on her. You don't find out until later. However, we cut to Nikolai.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Actually, before that, we
What?
can cut over towards Nikolai, or do you want to take the 5 now? It's still pretty early, but it's entirely up to you.
Let's do 5. Sure, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. As the team moves forwards into the next stage of events, we will determine what happens with Nikolai now.
Yeah.
On the process of getting here without too much of an issue, Nikolai, you are more or less confronted by a guard, like in the front of the mansion you see in front of you. A very grandiose 5-story
I didn't know if we're there. Okay, sorry. We're on the other
building.
Okay. Oh, I'm thinking about it. Sorry, my bad.
No, it's all good. Like this is way, way, way before you even enter the gate to enter into this thing. There's like an entire road before you get there. The guard does stop you, and Jillian does state, he's with me? Very good then, ma'am. They allow you through, and before you actually get to the gate and the doorway, she does state, all right then, if there's anything you need to ask, you're more than welcome to.
Nothing really. I'm just kind of, I'll follow you. Yeah. I'll stay close by and just follow your lead, I think. I mean, yeah.
And all right. I would ask. No, I shouldn't ask anything. In fact, I won't.
Why not?
Because then you wouldn't be yourself.
Okay. I'll be myself. I mean, yeah. I don't want you to want me to be anything that I'm not.
Exactly. You enter inside towards the gate, and people do let you through since you're with Jillian. As you enter inside, you do hear a familiar voice. If you don't remember it, it was Jillian's brother. And he does state, Father is expecting you, but not with company. This is Nikolai.
I extend my hand to shake his hand.
He looks at it and goes, right, the significant other. And he doesn't shake it. He then looks towards Jillian and more or less ignores you.
What? I didn't state anything. I just wanted to shake your hand.
Yeah, more or less ignores you. He goes to speak with her and doesn't make eye contact with you.
And after I said that,
he looks you up and down and goes, the significant other. He then turns towards Jillian and basically ignores you after that.
Okay.
Yeah. I won't tell you how to do your things. After all, you have your own way of doing things. Nevertheless, Father is inside. I'm expected to be inside as well, so do tend to your whatever he is carefully. Then you enter inside the door.
Can I roll oh damn. Okay, never mind. We'll continue. I'll deal with it.
What do you roll?
Subside.
What do you
Subside.
roll? No, we're doing this now. What do you want to roll?
Because Nikolai does not of all the puffed up person that he is, someone just sitting there and just ignoring him. First off, him trying to be nice, him trying to be upfront, trying to be and the first time I talked to him was not in person, and now I'm in person and he pretends like I'm invisible, and so I'm I want to feel I want to roll not messing with him kind of thing. I want to I don't know, light his hair on fire or something. I don't know.
Intimidation is what you mean?
I don't know. I guess. I don't know. Maybe intimidate. Maybe just make myself feel more imposing. Yeah.
Either intimidate or persuasion would fit that. Unless you physically want to do him harm, then initiative.
Okay, intimidation. Wow, 14.
Yeah. Nikolai could have also done a performance as well in that case.
I mean, it was rolled. It's the same number, so.
I suppose that's fair, but with the performance would imply a persuasion to get him into a better light, or an intimidation to state, don't mess with me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But 14 is not exactly incredible.
No.
He does take notice of you having yourself, like, you more or less, he can tell you took affront to that. You put yourself up as tall as possible, square up. You're not holding yourself back from indicators of body position and form. And while you're walking towards this direction, but haven't opened the doors just yet, he does state, to the room, but you believe it is towards you, Nikolai. Now then, remember, once we enter into the main room, Father will be there. Whatever grandiose things you expect to do them up front. If ever at all your character is follied or fractured or found fault with, then things might go awry. I don't really care myself, but this is something I have to do. I am the cleaner in this family, as you well know. So don't make me do my job.
Jillian, what does he mean by cleaner? As I send her a message in her head.
Is this telepathy or message?
The message spell, because
Okay.
she can't send a message back.
Yeah, I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
He is someone that gets rid of people that are potentially an issue within or externally towards the family, specifically this family. More or less, he'll get rid of any problems, and that could mean running him out of town, or quite literally, this is more than 30 words.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. You hold on to the spell as though it works, or permanently, as in death.
Okay.
As I mentioned beforehand, my lineage before I left is one of rogues and cutthroats. Mafia, if you will.
Yes, I see.
Her brother does open the doors and steps inside. As soon as he does, he more or less bows and comes back up, and he does state, Father, may I present to you your daughter Jillian and guest. Standing before you are 3 individuals. 2 of them have masks, and you can tell that these are likely the bodyguards to, right-hand man, in case he ever comes into danger. But in between them is someone heavily tall and garbed in shadow. Much the same as the man you saw in town when you first arrived. You can tell that they have an image above that surface, but you can also tell that shadow is them in turn. It's not as if they aren't really there. But at the exact same time, something is also up with that. But more on that later if it ever comes up. But who knows if it ever will. The man does look towards you, and you can tell the shadow is a part of him. And so can everyone else that's here. Because something around him flickers away. And you can tell that weird illusionary thing is gone. And all you see is the image in front of you. The man looks towards Jillian and his son and does state towards them. Right. It's been quite some time, Jillian. Thanks. Thank you for allowing me to press on with my own work. Of course. It was the guidance of your late mother that you would decide your own path, that the children would make way and new strides. That being the case, though, you are still a part of this family, and you must always keep that in mind. Of course. How is your therapy going, and your workflow? It's been going well. I have most of my mobility nearly back. Some nerve pain, but it should go away in about a couple of days, according to reports. But my work load has been low. until I've made a full recovery.
Well, Dharma, while they're talking, I'm gonna just kind of be insightful into like the conversation and sense of how he is talking and how Jillian's responding, as into respect or more just like, I know you're my dad, but I don't know how much I don't know, like trying to like make sense of that relationship and then know where his standing is.
Roll
kind of
insight.
thing. Okay.
Thirteen's not that bad. They begin to make conversation on things and like small talk here and there. With your insight, you can determine that she is doing things matter of fact. Like she's giving the information as clinically clean as possible. No filigree here and there. That type of response to questioning is something either of respect or fear. Maybe a little bit of both. You're not entirely sure. But it is something like easily misinterpreted as potential lackey subordinate kind of thing. You can tell that she is respectful towards her father, but at the exact same time has an emotional stiltedness towards it. Looking towards this, though, she does state, other than that, I really have nothing else to report. I just made sure that your missive didn't go uncalled. Right. Well, I do appreciate you making your rounds. It's been quite some time, nearly a month since you've spoken with me. Please don't let that happen again. Of course. That being the case, he then looks towards you, and Nikolai, you have a sharp pain in your mind. Go ahead and roll a wisdom saving throw.
For his wisdom saving throw or my wisdom saving throw?
Both, technically.
Can
one
I
for
have
him
advantage?
first, and then the second one for you.
Can I have advantage?
Why?
Advantage on sanity checks.
No, unless you use your mental thing.
Oh, wait, mental thing. Oh,
A while back ago.
Wait, what?
A while back ago, you guys were given 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I want to use my second one.
Yeah, if you want.
Wait,
Cool.
you still have 3, don't you?
No, I have.
The way I worded it clearly made some of you guys confused, so I said, whatever, I'll give you all 3.
How many has Nikolai's?
Wait,
Yeah.
that wasn't a wisdom save. Wait, was that a wisdom? Oh, I did roll a wisdom saving throw. Wow.
You probably don't have proficiency in it, so that's a 9. And with your bonus, that is a 10.
Yes, it is.
Not the best.
See what I can do. Why not? That'd be worth it. 12.
Not the best. You feel something crawling to your mind, not as if taking it over, but definitely scheming through it. You feel emotions, disconnections, and then returning of memories, returning to the surface. You see visions of you, Jillian, first meeting. You see visions of you and your comrades fighting along each other in the sewers, fighting along each other on the road, into different cities, into different purposes. You find yourself back into this position. You more or less relive the moments, the first instance you met Jillian, up all the way until now.
No.
And then go ahead and make a wisdom save for your own thing.
I'm psychic lancing myself. I can't. No. Nikolai's not going to take that.
Don't know if this will.
I'm psychicking lancing myself. I like if I don't know if Nikolai would have recognized, but if he's gonna do that, like if he would recognize that something's happening, and I would say get out of my head.
This is like a brief instance thing. Like the best way I can describe it is a flash in time reliving your life. This is within the span of a second.
Is psychic lance is an action though? Can I? Would that? I don't know. Okay.
Like, does this require somatic components, visual components.
No, that one's
shaky,
just
shaky
auditory.
hands.
That one's just auditory. You just verbally. It's just you say it, like, and it you just like say verbal command, boom, and it's done.
Then you would have had to spend more than a second to cast
Okay.
it. I would say you can still do it, but at that point in time, he would have gotten everything.
Okay. Second wisdom save then.
Yes. Ironically enough, you succeeded on yourself. You can tell that a primal instinct in you feels a distinct, not fear, but primal urge to devour this man, to kill him, to more or less stop whatever force is controlling your mind or stop whatever thing they're doing. You feel as if the energy, whether it's yourself or the demonic energy, which is currently yourself, is trying to take over and is trying to seep its way through once again. But you are strong enough to not allow it to go through.
Okay. It is a pleasure to meet you, as Nikolai struggles to say words.
I'm sure it is. And again, I ask you, what brings you here today?
I am on vacation and visiting the town.
Jillian. Yes. You know this man quite well, do you not? Yes, Father. We've been going out for quite some time. And yet you have yet to tell me about this until recently when your brother visited you in the hospital. Is that not correct? I unfortunately was busy for quite some time with my work. I understand. There is no need for that kind of thing, and after all, you are all grown up. That being the case, though, you know this man quite well, do you not? Of course, I would not be with him otherwise. And you would hate for them to hide things from you, let alone deceive you. After all, you find me repulsive in these manners, of which I do the same. Of course not, Father. There is no need to lie to me. I understand. That being the case, if you truly seek to be away from this family, which you clearly do, do not defile yourself with someone so close to my own nature. And you, Nikolai, was it?
Yes.
And they never, at one point in time, said your name, but he knows your name. I do hope you don't continue
act
to lie.
shocked. Did I lie? I didn't involve. I mean, yes. Okay. Well, I am here to see your daughter, so.
Thought you were here on vacation.
That was the thing. I never said I wasn't here to not see your daughter.
I suppose
You have
that's
to
more or
know-
less fair.
Yes, I guess leaving out information can be considered a lie as well. So.
Yes, omission. And so much that you have omitted up till now. I do hope it doesn't come back to haunt you. And even with insight, you can tell he doesn't hope that that isn't true. One way or the other. Doesn't like you.
Mutual.
Fair enough.
Don't know if he said that, but I said mutual.
Right. Well, until you return to this house, Jillian, I do hope you fare well in your relationship. Thank you. And send my condolences to your former partner's family. They were quite well. It's a shame you couldn't go for them. But you're young. You'll find someone worthy of you. You do can tell that one of the guards comes over, gives Jillian a note and a satchel of money to deliver to her former partner's family. You begin to walk out.
Oh, before I leave, it was a pleasure to meet you. What happened to your wife? Did she pass away?
Nikolai, do you really want to say that?
I stutter.
You did not just do that.
Wow. Oh, I can't even. Okay.
Yes or no, Nikolai?
It's a no.
Okay. Before you head out, you pause for a second thinking, should I ask him about his wife?
Did you? Oh my God. Okay, fine. Oh gosh. Okay. Well, damn.
And then you decide not to. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying, do you want to?
You're giving me. Oh my gosh. I have to double take on this.
Game, what I would say that would be a better thing to ask Julian
Yeah.
off the side, and
Oh.
not him. Because
You don't know who Nikolai is, then. If you don't think he's gonna be like, okay, yeah, but like,
No, I for sure would. I'm just asking you, do you want to say that, yes or no? You're more than welcome to say it.
okay, I mean, now you're making me nervous because you're like, I said it because I was like, that's what I wanted to say, but now I'm like out of game. Like, okay, Nikolai was just like, you violated me, so I would have to go return a violation of your privacy for you. So that's just what I wanted to say.
Wasn't fair. It has been spoken.
Oh, great.
let me just say this.
Oh boy.
He disapproves of your relationship with Jillian.
Okay, does that okay,
Will that cause a target of me on Nikolai's back now?
I will abstain for the reason of your concern to not say it, and I don't like being passive, but I will abstain so that I can gain favor from Julian, but I will not take that lightly.
Play your character however you want.
Gosh.
Out of game, what do you feel like it's right?
I feel like it's right is the fact that
He insulted you and you want to take it back.
he didn't insult me, but he violated my area of trust and then took it from me to try to think that he's better in the room, and then didn't think that someone's on an equal plane of him, and then force somebody to go into their brain and then have a more apparent knowledge of the surrounding person, and thought that I could just stand there and not take that without doing anything in front of him. And so I felt like before I left, I just thought I'd give him a parting question, and he didn't have to answer it. Like more of like a rhetorical question. So I'm saying that as rhetorical as I leave the room, kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. You begin to head out. Jillian's brother moves forwards as they would watch the way. Jillian soon after, and then you turn towards this man. This man you don't really know. But he's clearly messed with you in one way or form or fashion. You ask him, so, what happened to your wife? In a offhanded, very backhand kind of way. And then you begin to proceed to head out. You don't see him do anything towards you or against you. At least not right now. And who knows if you ever will, because this man has his own reputation. but more on that maybe later. You really don't know. But
Okay.
you can roll insight.
Insights today.
Oh man, that's a 17.
The what?
I said, oh man, that's a 17.
That's 11.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's even worse.
Oh yeah, that's worse.
You can tell that you struck a nerve, and haha,
Oh wow.
I got him.
Oh, it's an 11.
There's more than just that, but
Oh,
for
yeah.
you, it's like, haha, take that.
Yeah.
You leave the room and like heading out of the mansion. Jillian's brother does like disperse, and he does state towards you, Nikolai. None of them heard you say that, but he does state towards you. Right. Well, Jillian, I'll take my leave here now. And now that he's not, in business mode, he does look towards you, Nikolai. Do take care of yourself. As long as you make her happy, I really don't care what you do. You can be a pig farmer for all I care. Just make sure you live well. And then he leaves.
I'd like turn my head a little bit and then just. Oh. I just kind of just smile and okay.
Jillian then
Jillian.
states, right.
You didn't take that, didn't you? Your brother lives 2 lives, doesn't he?
With this family, we all do. It's what we grew up in.
Well, yeah, we need to. Whenever you have, I don't know if you want to do something now or just have a dinner or just sit down and talk. But I don't want to leave anything from you, so I thought we'd just have a chat and tell you about the whole situation because I think it's better that you knew about the things that I have to deal with and you can take it with however you want to take it. Because I know that your father was telling you the truth about me, because he likes to look into people's mind. So
He can get underneath people's skin. But I'm sure you have nothing to worry about. I get it, you're busy. On the road, doing your adventures with your friends. I do worry about you.
it's a little bit more than that. Yeah. Do you? I feel like we should get something. I mean, I can. How long do you have for this time here? Like, are you fairly not busy with all the therapy and everything?
She does grab your hands. I have more than enough time to spare.
Okay, I can spend. So you said, okay, how much time has I spent so far?
Roughly a week for you, because you've been playing
Oh,
it
okay.
so thinly.
Oh wow, so that means I could spend like maybe a month-ish here.
If you wanted to, Nikolai, we could even meet you in Hythe, because Dust would be wanting to go to Hythe soon after. Because he wants.
I don't know that, but I would say
But-
if it's only been a week of time, I would probably say, hey, well, it's. I mean, I've only have. They're doing some. Sorry, I was back in game. But what'd you say, Kyle? What'd you get? Yeah.
So, like you would have told everybody, "Hey, I'm gonna go do Julian for a little while, going to Hythe."
Yeah.
I think you. So, and Dust would have brought up that he was wanting to go see Emily at the end once he finished.
You did
And
send her a
so-
message.
Yeah, and
Uh,
so it's very likely that we, at the end, we could just meet there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That being said, Nikolai, you can also spend like a couple days here, go to the capital, and like see if you can't find the high priest, and then come back down here and meet everyone. You would have still plenty of time to hang out with Jillian and stuff of that nature.
Okay.
I just want to make
I'd
sure
probably-
you can do that as well.
Okay. Yeah. I could spend like just to catch up and spend more time here. I'll take take a week here, and then travel up to the capital, check on that, and then come back and then spend the rest of the time here.
Yeah. For the first week of things to do here, you spend a little bit of time. You don't probably tell her the deep dark secret because it'd be
Wait,
awkward.
why not?
It'd be awkward if you left immediately after that and then came back.
Wait, but no, I would tell her immediately, and then we'd have the week to talk through it and be like, hey, I'm gonna go run to this capital real quick. I gotta go get an errand, and then come back, and I'll be back in another week.
That feels so weird.
I mean,
fine.
You're more than welcome to do it, Nikolai.
as a
Well, I
player,
mean,
just
why not just? I mean, I could just spend. Okay, I mean, I guess it does feel weird. I could spend more time here before I go up there.
it's your choice, man.
It's your choice. Okay, I'm gonna get back to that conversation later.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe I'm weird.
It's just the way it's presented. I'm sure you can pull it through. It's just what I'm currently thinking in my mind. But more on that later. In the meantime, in the final round of a few weeks, Dusk, what are you doing with the last remaining turn / you'll have like 3 days after this, but the last remaining time you have?
I'm just going to be mainly focusing. I don't really have any other minor projects that would, I think, constitute using roles.
Okay.
It would be primarily me working on the blade, seeing if I can get top notch. I'd be really focusing on this.
Go ahead and roll Arcana minus your religious bonus.
Minus my religion.
Religion bonus.
Okay, those are the same, so that's just a flat roll.
That works. It's a 5. You spend some time with Gretel to see if you can't get the whole blessing, holy energy to meld well together. You're not at a disadvantage or anything. I just wanted to see if you had advantage this time. No. You learn a little bit, but you don't really fully pick anything up. Okay. You begin to make preparations for the blade. You already set that up. Aurora, with her time, she did make your sending stones. They do look quite well done, just not as clean and polished as you would have preferred. Unfortunately, that's not in her current training yet. It's more of making them feasible rather than making them pretty.
And that's something that I could very easily do without causing issues to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Actual item.
It's just more cosmetic than anything else.
Yeah.
But along that way, you spend some brother-sister time, and, brother-sister time, not that you know that yet.
Yeah.
You do spend your time and then get back to work with your blade. You have the material again at this point in time, so go ahead and make your rolls and decide what you make. I think the first time you went with Tinker's tools because you had a better bonus to it.
Yeah, I'm still going to do the same rolls.
All right, sounds good.
$19. Okay, and then the jewelers, and then I'm just going to roll that, and then I'm going to take I'm going to use the minor wish to take the 16
Okay.
on the second Tinker's Tools.
Yeah, which would be the Arcana check / Tinker's Tools check.
Yep.
So, man, you got so lucky. The number to beat for all three to make the blade would be 16 all around.
Whoosh.
The first time you had a tough go at it, but it wasn't bad. It was A worthy work, but not A plus. You begin to make and forge this blade, imbuing the natures of holy radiant energy into it. Using your spike and trowel, you also created these materials for it. Imbuing the natured roles that you chant with Gretel's help, the dwarven woman's help, and everyone else's assistance, and Hemda's own knowledge, all of that accumulated within you, you begin to make a blade far stronger than you had expected, but at the exact same time, of equal quality to your own lantern. You have created something quite powerful, something deadly to those of lycanthrope or vampiric descendancy, as well as undead, which was not exactly expected, but not unwanted.
Yeah.
What do you create? What do you name this creation?
Let me think.
At the exact same time,
Okay.
you
I'm
think
ready.
about it in your mind, and in the exact same time, once you believe, like once you name your weapon out loud, that will be the what's it called? The end clock stopping. You would
Okay.
basically be summoning the other contract keeper to you. So you think the name in your head is what I'm saying.
Okay. Its name, the blade's name, will be Howling Moonlight Redemption.
You think this name within your own mindscape, and you can tell that it is reverberating with a name. Basically, you've named this weapon in tune. But once you name it out loud, you can tell that that will be the finalized contract fulfilling itself. And the other person on the other end will be summoned here. However, you can also use more or less their business card to call them to get them over here as well. However way you want to do it. You have two options. That being the case, though, you also still have some free time to just spend if you don't want to be dealing with that situation, or if you want Nikolai here as well. It's entirely up to you.
I don't think Nikolai will necessarily be necessary for this.
He isn't. I'm just letting you know that he's not there.
Yeah. He's not there. I do, however, want to shine it up a bit, clean it up, make it the best that it can be. I've done the overall thing, but just kind of adding a few minor touches here and there.
Yeah. You spend
and
some time. Go ahead.
And then I'll also have my craftsman's tool. I mean, I'll have my craftsman mark involved in on it.
Yeah.
So.
You spent some time cleaning up the weapon, making a scabbard for it, as well as emblazing your artisan's name on it, making sure that people that know what it is know that it comes from you. Great way to advertise, truly.
Yeah.
Especially towards noblemen and things of that nature. You can tell that this is some fine made work, and Himda, soon after you begin to polish it, making it shine, does come over towards you. Fine work, young one. Still needs improvement on your first try for success ratio, but overall, she holds up the blade. Very finely made.
Yeah. And I was doing some things with this blade that I hadn't really ever done before, so it makes sense. So,
I suppose that is true. Now then, make sure you spend some time with your family. I'm sure your mother, I would say misses you, which is true, but she has found her mind preoccupied elsewhere.
yeah, I've been noticing that. I've been spending as much time outside of my crafting with my family, so. But I will be spending the last couple days with them fully. I do, however, have an item that I would like you to look into. This might involve the next major project that I'm working on. And I will pull out the crystal heart.
That is quite rare. Any direction you aim for?
Well, from what I gather, it can be used in the constructs and potential warforge, but that's just kind of an inkling. There's been words going around that I've heard of people trying to craft warforge or constructs, and so I would like to try my hand at that.
Well, this is true. More and more have been being created. At one point in time, it was only a handful, but now even more. And over the years, it has been becoming a major boom in things, since they've been essentially made for either a magician's labor or assistance. It wouldn't be out of the question for a skilled artisan much like yourself to have one. Very well then. If I can discern or look into any information, I will let you know on this part.
And this is mostly because I have found what I need to do to restore the trust in Madame Ziri. Madame Ziri has found me, the fact that I've taken her power. And I have learned that as long as I can get a craftsman with great skill underneath her, or an individual of great power, she will accept me. I was informed by the individual of you, but I do not want to ask that of you. I know this is my problem, and I need to meet those qualifications myself. So this is one thing that I desire to do, to prove my worth to her.
She does nod and she does state, very good, making sure you take care of your own problems. And for that matter, I would not agree, by the way. I do care for you, like you are my own godson, and you are her godson, but not so much I'd be willing to give up my life.
And I would not ask that of you. In fact, when I was notified of that they would want you, I knew instantly that it wasn't necessarily you as an individual, but more of your skill, more than anything.
Quite true. She has, when she's come here, not as of recently, been pestering at times of when am I going to come over to her side? When am I going to create only the finest things for her and things of that sort? I have no doubt that you will be able to make something quite beneficial to your ends. I do not want you to go away, but make sure you take the necessary steps and precautions.
Most definitely, and I'll be situating myself with this to where I have the most freedom but in such a way that she can reach out to me and I can make things when she wants them.
Ah, yes, good. And between you and me, she does pay rather well. So it has been hard here and there not to take up the position, but then you lose most of your freedoms and, go into the elemental plane. So do well, but make sure that there's plenty of string loosened.
Oh, most definitely, and I'm definitely going to planning on doing that. But I believe. I know that I can do this.
Right there. Now then, let's make way towards your family. And not that I want to alarm you, and I'm sure your mother wants you to tell her personally yourself, but you will have an expected sibling in the near future.
Well, that means I can probably just look after my sibling even better then. Kind of getting a hint about that, what's going on.
Yes. The paperwork will be finished in about a few days, so look forward to that. And she takes you to the rest of the family. In the meantime, Ada, it does take a few days to get to the library without too much of an issue. You instead take some horses because you would need to travel through more mountainous terrain to get there. Where is library map? Nope, that is the wrong city.
if it was planned that they would have needed to take horses, I would have let them use the missive for the horses and wagon that we got.
Yeah, for sure you would have gotten that. That's not really an issue. I can't find my library map, so theory of the mind it is until I find it. Ada, you go to the library without too much of an issue, using your horses along the way. Thinking on what Dust and Nikolai got in the mail, you begin to move forward. Dust, along the way, you begin to remember you had a, mail.
I would have read that soon after.
Yeah, it's kind regards, greetings.
Get back to that.
Asking how you are, how have you been? It's been quite some time since we last spoken. It's like, hopefully you can come here without too much of an issue, and it's not too much trouble for you. It's kind words given to by a kind person.
Yeah.
And
I can bet my mother would have probably tried to get a hold of that letter at some point in time.
Oh, for sure.
So.
Yeah. That being the case, though, that's what that message said. Nothing too terrible. Ada, while in the library, or at least heading towards there, you do meet two guards stationed in front. They do state, it's been quite a few months, miss. And I believe... Was Fauna there when you went to the library?
I think we met Fauna...
No, you met her at the Capitol.
Way after. Yeah.
And Whisper regrouped after she got, air quotes, fired, suspended for a while.
Mm-hmm.
No one else. It's just Ada. You were an adventurer. I assume your comrades. Never mind. Feel free to go inside.
Oh, they're just busy at the moment. We're kind of on a little break at the moment.
They sigh with relief, thinking that they might have said something awful. Very good, ma'am. Welcome to the library. Feel free to look inside however you may. And again, welcome to the Akashic Records. Entering inside, you were giving, hints and clues of information here and there. you see the receptionist who is still there looking towards you. Very short man, long ears, kind of like a halfling, which is probably true because it's a halfling. I forgot their voices, but it doesn't matter because they're not there. Welcome. Information you need?
A few, yes. Some information about creating a warforge, some information about devils, demons, all of that kind, and one is how, I believe, how souls work. If you have anything about that.
Hmm. And the soul work one, does it have to do with the Warforged one? Or something completely different?
Something completely different.
Okay, then. You able to find the Warforged books in Section C, Demons and Devils in Section A, and Souls, Section B.
All right, thank you. Also, one more question. Do you have someone by chance, for an example, a person who could maybe revive someone who's undead? This is just an example. I'm just asking. Should I roll a deception check?
It's not really, because he may or may not care. 2. Honestly, I'm the receptionist. There have been many hires here and there of scholars and things of that nature. I don't pay attention to them. They're not books. They're not important. People that, can fully revivify someone, that's probably high-end mage or clerical work. Maybe someone in the capital could help you, or, I don't know, maybe the headmaster could.
All right, then. Thank you.
Uh-huh. The headmaster is like a few days travel southwards from here. They basically teach the magic school.
Wait, out of game. Is it that professor we met back in, I believe it was in Isle?
He might be.
You know who I'm talking about? The guy who was... I believe he was talking about how to manipulate time or something like that.
He might be. Unfortunately, this man rolled a 2, so he doesn't have names.
Alright, A's gonna turn to the others. Should we split up to get the books, or do you guys have other things you need to find?
Not at the moment. I don't think so. You go ahead and begin to not split apart, but go one by one in sections to see what you may find. Whisper and Opal are honestly very good with what they do, and that is research. So go ahead and roll investigate with advantage.
Oh boy! All right. Here we go. Wow. Okay.
That's not the worst thing in the world.
It's not the worst thing. No.
You go to section C first, which is Warforges, and or Warforge I. I forget the full thing. I think it's just Warforge, plural. And there you find a book titled Warforge in the First Construction. It's a book on Warforges, and you're not sure how in depth Dust wanted it.
I'm allowed to check out these books, right?
Yeah, as long as you have a library card.
Can I get a library card?
Yeah, you just need to be a resident of Isle, have a place of residency, which would be your home. But since you are working for the kingdom, you could just license it underneath the kingdom and capital.
Alright, we don't know how to roleplay this, but can I do that?
Yeah. You fill out your paperwork, and I have a library card. Okay, go ahead and roll for Demons and Devils. Still advantage.
Also investigation?
Yes.
Okay. Alright.
You do quite well in that.
Okay. Can Ada scan through the book real quick?
Yeah, scanning through the book, you can tell it gives a brief example here and there of like why people want souls, what is the purposes of a soul, and what type of demons, devils, angels, archfiends, archangels, gods use them for, and for what reason. You are basically reading the intro to the book, and it does state that through over the millennia and various years soon beforehand and after, souls have been used for a variety of things, mainly which the creation and powering of other things. That's not the entire thing of the book. It's just the brief synopsis of what the book employs and what it does.
All right, it's good. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, it just says, it gives you a brief recap of what you can find in the book. It basically states, what do angels use it for? What do demons use it for? What do fae, hags, gods, demigods, the planes use them for?
Okay. Ada's gonna take that book too, and then she's gonna try finding others, especially if Fauna kind of lost in the library.
You eventually find Fauna currently stuck in a giant gyroscope. Eventually you get it free. You check out the books, and the individual in front of you does state, all right then, anything else?
No, I believe that would be all.
All right. Again, if you want to find someone that can resurrect your friend or whatever, check the magic school or speak with the king and like one of their high mages or clerics can probably do it.
All right then. Well, thank you.
All right, enjoy yourselves, and remember, you have a 1-year lease on the books. If you don't return them, we will send in galactic enforcers to capture you and bring them back.
All right, that isn't intimidating at all. All
It
right.
should be.
I was saying that sarcastically. right.
He looks at you quizzically as if he doesn't understand sarcasm.
All right, never mind then. It's good turn to the others. All right. Anything else you guys need? Opal, do you still need to get that thing from the past?
No, I'm good. Let's head out.
Okay then. All right. So they still have the teleportation crystal, right? I mean, crystal.
You
ring.
have the spell scroll, yeah. You can open it, and
Yeah.
since you're a caster, you can use it. That being said, though, if you want to believe Opal, you're more than welcome to. It's very weird that she just said, "Nah, I'm good. Let's go."
Yeah, it is gonna be just. Can she make an insight check on her?
You can if you want to, or just like not care.
Yeah, insight check.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was 9 anyways. Okay.
It's weird that she didn't like press a little bit more, but not that weird. Maybe she just couldn't find someone, or like, she doesn't want to press her luck.
All right. I guess we can go now. You sure about this?
Yeah.
Okay. It's gonna be the. You know, we still have horses. We can't leave the horses behind.
No, you come back, get the horses, and
That's-
teleport out. Returning to the house, roughly behind the house, the circle is made and like dissipated and destroyed, since she could only make a temporary one, since she's not a spellcaster. Soon enough, she does state, okay then, and then she takes out a golden apple from her pocket. I got something to do. I'll be back in a few weeks.
It's gonna call out to her. What did you even need the fruit for?
Not telling you.
Why not? I thought we were friends.
I'll tell you later.
Fine. Gosh. Okay.
She basically stores herself in a room, working on her thing for a while. You still have a few weeks' time to do whatever you want, Ada. So during that time, what do you do?
Besides, probably every now and then, either looking through Glacier's eyes or checking in on the souls and talking with them, she would probably study, if that's
Yeah.
possible.
You begin to study and look at the books and formalities of things of that nature, and you begin to see what the qualifications of a soul and what they're used for. You give Dust his book, unless you read it first. It's entirely up to you.
No, you give it to Dust.
You give the book to Dust. So you read the Demons and Devils and then the Soul book. Correlating these two books together and like looking through them, you can tell that souls are used a lot, like for various reasons and purposes. Not just, they're the divinity of life within a singular being, given forth a breath of air by the gods to ascend or descend depending on where they go in the afterlife. It's more like these things in between the body and flesh and bone are used for more than just giving things life. They are used to mutate and grow and to become something far worse or something far better. These types of souls, as one would call them, are more or less, to certain individuals, types of energy that they can derive from, use, other than the magical weave or the, in some instances, they call it the dark weave. You're not sure if that's the name specifically. It does seem like the words are translated from a different language, but it does go on to state that these souls are used as an energy source outside of the normal means. Souls would also be used to create and form new devils and demons, far stronger than what normally are created or produced, as they would be corrupted thanks to the energies in the abyss, or the 9 hells. Hags would use them to collect, gather, and barter with, and angels and archangels would be using them as a potential source for more energy and high bound blessings and charisma. The souls themselves would also derive energy towards the god that they pray to or worship. Souls would be used for so many things that unless you truly know what you're doing, or at least know what you're doing or know of it, it would be very hard to tap into this strength or this willpower. And a demon or a devil would be able to understand this. Having souls blended together, however, is something very hard to do, and drawing energy from that pool without destroying the souls would also be, very, very hard, if not near impossible. Only the strongest source of beings would be able to do that. If you do destroy the soul, then the cycle for that life would be gone, extinguished. And, a source of energy would also be extinguished out. So devils and angels would use these souls as a long sustaining life energy for as long as possible. They wouldn't kill it outright. So you do believe Amara is still there, just intertwined with so many others. Jumping in from time to time to see if you can't meet with Amara, you do meet a few other souls around them. You do meet a musician, a artisan, a craftsman, a jewelry maker, various people that would strive to be the best in their field and likely would make deals or barters with devils or demons. From time to time, you do meet familiar faces of history and of things that you have read and collected within time. Some of them wrote famous stories, famous novels, songs, and things of that nature. So you can tell Glacia is true to her word. You just don't really know if they can be fully trusted, since they would take advantage of the individual. Based off of all that you know, you could potentially drive Amara out, but without the help of Glacia, it would be near impossible, but not impossible. And Ada, I want you to go ahead and roll... I forgot what roll. I believe it was a religion last time to try to commune with Amara.
I think it was a religion. It was like in between two options, but I chose religion.
Yeah, I think so. And then you rolled like a... What was it? Like a 12 last time?
Right, yeah.
17's pretty good, though. For an instance, you do get Amara's face and visage. She does look towards you, and she is almost silhouetted in the form. Not fully there, unfortunately, not high enough to like fully sustain her there, but high enough that you do have a few moments with her. She does state towards you, Ada, I'm glad you're doing okay. But don't worry about me. Just make sure you're alive. If you have to take down Glacia, then do so.
I don't know how much time I have, but one, why did you do this? And why do you think I'm not going to try to bring you back? You deserve a life as much as I do, Mara. Come on.
Only one of us needed to go. And it damn well sure isn't going to be you. And I know you're going to come, which is why I'm saying, if you can't find any other way, bring her down.
I'm not doing that. I'm going to find a way, alright? I promise that. Just at least try to fight her for me.
She does nod her head. I'll try. So many souls are here. I can barely keep my mind straight. But I'll try. Listen, Ada. I don't know if the message was sent, but can you please try to tell my sister that I love her?
I promise. You're going to be the one to say that to her.
And you don't think I saved you for a reason? You were always such a sunshine in this world. I would hate for this world to lose it.
I can't lose the one person who makes me happy. Come on. I honestly don't know why you see me in times. Honestly, I feel like I'm a mess. But it's not about me. It's about you. Okay? I'm going to get you out of here. Even though if it's gonna cost some sacrifice or something, I will not just let this happen to you. You're going to see your sister. Everything is going to be okay. You are going to live a life. One way or another, okay? Don't say this as if it's like a final goodbye. Come on. We're going to see each other again.
She does nod, and she does state, I hope so. Even if not in this life, in the next. As long as you defeat her, the souls will dissipate and go. So don't be afraid to take her out. And I'll find you again. Don't worry, I will. And then it cuts off. And your mind returns back to your body.
Dang it. Well, she tried. That's all I could say. Out of game. Yep.
Yeah. You spend more time with your friends and allies trying to keep up face, as well as, trying to help yourself mentally with your friend fighting for their life inside their own mind. It is a dark and grueling task, but you also know that she wants to make sure you survive. She also wants to make sure others survive as well. She's always been this way. Always putting others before herself. That's one of her main flaws. But you don't think about that. You think about bringing her back. And then setting her up with one of your worst friends.
Yep. You know what? I can lie about that. Yep.
Obo's not the best person. But she is in her own ways.
She has her quirks.
Yeah. When you two get together, as well as
one
Whisper...
of Nikolai's ones or one of his regrets, but yeah.
What?
When the group gets...
Okay, sorry.
It's fine. When the group gets together, you do figure out and discover that Luck has adopted Fauna. Within the coming days, a arbiter of the law would come over, finalize the paperwork, and Fauna is now part of Dust's family. Technically, that is allowed since she has no true documentation of birth anywhere within the kingdom. Because she technically was born in the Feywild. That, however, is not really an issue. Normally, you wouldn't be able to adopt adults, but with no actual paperwork or documentation behind her, you, in theory, could with Fauna. So, luck has taken Fauna in, if not by name alone, and you spend one final day before heading out and meeting Nikolai in reverie and in suspense on, is Fauna going to be okay in this family? Yeah, she probably is. Is she going to be adventuring? Is Luck going to try to keep her at house? You more or less think about leaving very, very early before Mom and Dad ever wake up, but you probably don't and say your goodbyes, like a normal, rational person. But we'll get back to what you guys truly say in a bit. Nikolai, what are you doing with your time? You are more than welcome to do what you intended to do the first time. The first time you described it.
I mean,
You're still in the other city. I just put you here.
yeah, I would say
I'm going to put you here.
probably just maybe spend it. Whoa. Probably spend a day, like just hanging out for a couple days, and then maybe say, hey, I'm gonna do an errand real quick. Gotta run up to the capital, and then we can spend some more time.
I love that. You spend first couple of days just getting back in the swing of things. She doesn't ask like why you didn't, respond to her calls, because she is going to bring things down at the moment in time. Before you leave, you do state, in all seriousness, that you do need to discuss a few things here and there, and hopefully you are the one that can tell Jillian.
Yeah. Before I go, I just, yeah, I think I should apologize.
It's all right. We all get busy.
Yeah, I think part of it was me being busy, but then part of me was kind of felt like I was avoiding trying to talk to you.
She doesn't say anything. She just nods.
Yeah, it was kind of a strange thing for me. So I don't want to throw it onto you now, so I need to go get a spell scroll from a friend that there was a cleric in the capital that I needed to meet. But after that, we can spend, I think I have a month of time, because Dust is supposed to come into town with everybody, so...
Great. The more time we have together, the better.
Yes, it would be awesome. It'd be very nice to actually sit down and not have to worry about something that is gonna happen. So.
You say your goodbyes without too much of an issue. Explain to her that you do, in all seriousness, need to discuss a few things when you get back, and hope that you can take it by your words rather than anyone else's words, just in case someone, says something. She nods, and you begin to head towards the capital of Isle, which is, Isle. I really should have changed that name a long time ago, but why not? Leaving it there. Looking towards you, she does.
Oh, do you have any pets, by the way?
Unfortunately, no. I do have a house plant, but no pets. I don't really have the time for it.
Oh, you don't have the time for it. Okay, never mind. I mean, he's not really much to take care of. I mean, I keep him in my bag, so he's kind of like, I don't know. He's pretty cool. I show her the little mimic.
Now around. Oh, you probably would have eaten some of your things. Nothing.
No.
Like nothing important. It's like he eats some of your rations. Some pots and pans that you told us you would keep on hand, in case you need to cook something.
He probably ate a dagger or something. Man. Okay,
That'd be
Jillian,
big.
okay, can how much? Oh my gosh, yeah. So you couldn't take care of this guy because I feel like he's getting a handful.
They're now around the size of a music box.
Okay.
I guess they could.
Yeah, take care of him until at least until I get back. It shouldn't be gone for more than a week.
Okay.
Just make sure he doesn't eat anything magical because then he'll grow bigger. So, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Handing off your mimic, you begin to head out and enter into Isle within a few days. Enter into Isle, you ask around to see if you can't find the High Mage, and soon enough, I'm just gonna move Jillian out and bring in the High Mage afterwards. You do enter to Isle and find the location of where people told you where the High Mage is. The High Mage is one of a handful of people that the capital and kingdom trust the most with elements of religion, strength, and things of that nature. Basically, council members for the king. You find the abode of the High Mage without too much of an issue, unless you make it an issue. Well, in that case, things might happen. But I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be throwing punches at people unless you want to.
No. I think I would just be like the normal Nikolai, not the Nikolai that was around the capital last time.
Yeah. There inside, you do find a very old, crotchety-looking woman with a book. Currently, she was cooking something, but soon enough, she does turn towards you, and you've seen this person before. If you don't remember her, that's probably fine. She
Yes,
was
I do.
one of the fighters that you fought.
Hi. I was gonna say hi. Welcome. Nice to see you again.
Nikolai, I think. Yes. What
Yes.
brings you here?
Well, I was told by, one of the mentors of my companions. Her name escapes me.
Imda.
Oh, it was Imda, I think.
Imda.
Yeah, Himda, like the note. But anyways, she mentioned that you were working on some kind of magic spells or something, and I'm trying to find some new necromancy spells of some kind.
I've been working on a few things here and there, some transformated spells that are converted from necromancy into clerical, and clerical into necromancy.
Did you? I don't expect you to give them to me, but I mean, I could do anything that you want, or just try to help around, or give you some money. I'm not sure what you need, but.
Well, first, how did you even get into my office to begin with? And you tell her, you work for the kingdom, so they allowed you in.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, if you're part of the kingdom, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Now then, some of these are experimental, so I don't know what will happen permanently to the body, but I can show you a thing or two here and there.
Okay.
Okay. She throws you through the standard things of necromancy and clerical things. Some things you know, other things you don't. She eventually gets to a spell that she does state. Now then, this one is akin to the smite spell, but instead of outwardly with a weapon, it goes inwardly into the body. However, that generally healed someone, so we converted it into a more dark temporal energy.
Okay.
Basically, we infuse the body with raging power, transforming it into a monstrosity. They grow very vastly in strength, but more or less their mind is stilted to a degree. So to be careful with that.
Okay.
That being the
Sounds
case, though, they are very
interesting.
strong and very healthy when they use it.
And who does this work? Does it only work on certain things or anybody?
So far, it's only to the self.
Okay. Okay. And it's necromancy?
Yes. The spell name we've decided on was Dark Transformation.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that sounds very, very useful. What do you need for it if you would part with it?
Again, it's an experimental spell. You're more than willing to take the spell scroll if you'd like and learn it. That being the case, though, we can't be responsible for things you use it for.
So I can only use it on myself, and I can't use it on somebody else.
Not unless you have your own dark energies into yourself and can imbue it to others.
Nikolai doesn't say anything.
That being the case, though, if you do have those, it might also corrupt your very being and soul, so glad that isn't the truth. But basically, you conjure the energies around you and imbue it into yourself.
Ah, I see. Well, that sounds very useful. I think if you if I could learn it, that'd be very helpful. So
Of course.
I don't know.
She does take a few days to teach you, and you'll do eventually learn it after some time. The spell itself is a spell you already know. Like, not you, your character, you, the person.
Okay.
Yeah. Dark Transformation, 5e spell. 5th level
Yeah.
necromancy, 1 action, 60 feet of range. Visual somatic material. Your strength score when using the spell is at 20. Your HP is doubled, and you do an additional 4d6 necrotic damage.
I thought that spell only worked on undead.
I would say it doesn't list that in the thing I'm looking at.
Oh, what? For real? It says you infuse.
Oh wait, yeah, there it is.
And it said and, but it should have said an undead creature within range.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, yep. But you
Gotcha.
can technically do it on yourself since you have the necrotic energy.
Gotcha. Okay. And it still costs. If I learn it, it costs those materials. I would have to find those.
You would just have to spend 200 gold each time.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
It's not that difficult to find ebony and ivory,
Okay.
and you can find an artisan real easily to make it into a skull.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. It takes you like a day and a half to learn it, and while on the road, again, if you decide to just immediately head out, to completely make it permanently into your inventory.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you're doing within your time? I know you're going back to Jillian, but other than that, anything else?
Is there a place in the capital that would be like a I don't know. I want to say like I can't think of anything, but I want to say like yoga, but I don't feel like that's the right word. Like something like under the lines of like a spa or some kind of like, oh, I want to like when you cleanse all the negative things out of you.
Oh, I think you were
Meditate.
thinking of like a temple for meditation. But I guess you
Yeah,
can go
well,
to a day spa.
But like, is there like some kind of like magical therapy person that could like, oh, you have all this negative energy in you, and then like they can like help you either like take some of it or like kind of like help you, like, oh, you can push it out of you. I don't know, just something weird like that. I don't know if anything would, like, any kind of special dark user, like energy users would be in the city. I don't know if that's asking for a lot, but
you roam around into the capital looking for anyone that could either help you control the dark energies or take it away from you. Soon enough, you do find a new age yoga place called The Darkness Within.
okay. This seems promising.
You find a I'll make him a high elf. High elven individual looking towards you as you enter inside. Bows, does the whole yoga pose, and then looks towards you. Ah, welcome, young one. Do you desire cleanliness within your mind and soul?
Yes. Yes.
Excellent. For only 5 gold a week, you too can begins to stretch out like as nimbly as possible, which is impressive, honestly, if you see it. You too can cleanse the mind and body, so much so that you begin to use it as your tool and instrument within the days. I can take the energies from you into my body and allow you each week.
Each week. I'm not gonna stay here. I'm not staying in the town for that long, but
Well, whenever you get here, I suppose we can go down to a month-to-month payment plan, if you'd like.
month. Can we just do like is there like a basic or like a advanced session where it's just like a all day thing, and then you just like figure out what's wrong with me, and then I can like take it from there, and then it's just like a one-time thing?
Oh, you're looking for our platinum package. That'll be 10 platinum, which is 100 gold.
What is the 10? What does the platinum entail?
Platinum entails, and as New Age medicine as it sounds, it honestly makes sense in D&D. So this is what I'm going to say.
Okay.
Within yourself, there are chakras within, and I will examine your body with these resounding energy flows, and I will see any disturbances within your body, your mind, and your soul. In that turn, I will give you the information needed to help purify and cleanse these things, and then you can outstretch your wings into growing a better person within yourself and letting them hatch within your own shell.
I don't know if I'm gonna want to drink after I have to deal with this, or if I'm just gonna do it, and then I don't know if Nicola's gonna be able to mentally deal with her just being so calm all the time. But
That being the case, though,
I'll do it. I'll just do it and get it over with.
Yeah. That being the case, though, I'm just going to explain it in simple terms. They're going to examine the energy within your own body. I mentioned beforehand that magic's kind of like circuits within the body. So the chakra thing. Examine your circuits to see what could be potentially an issue, and they will help you determine how to resolve this, if it can be resolved. Like, there are like some curses here and there that could be removed with enough control, or there might be some advantages to this type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. You pay him the 10 platinum. I said 10 platinum, which would be 100 gold.
Oh, 100 gold. Well, I did the math wrong. Okay,
Platinum
pay
is
100 gold. 100 gold.
Yeah. He begins to more or less blend his energies, and you can tell he is casting magic onto your person, and it begins to right into you as if energy is being infused and moved around. You can tell, however, when your energy begins to be tried to well, specifically, your dark energy begins to more or less be seeped out. They themselves begin to more or less convulse, just trying to fight this dark energy in you to expel it from you, to try to clean your energy flow. However, soon enough, this man right in front of you, like meditating while you meditate in front of him, begins to seize and convulse and then just hits the ground. The man is currently unconscious, but, still alive. Do you, leave, collect your money, then leave? Or help wake the man, or, wait until they wake up?
I walk over to him, and then I'd be like, I tap him and say, hey, are you okay?
Soon enough, you wake him up, and he startles awake, and he goes, "Oh, my word! I've never felt so much anguish, so much dread, so much hunger."
That's that. Mm-hmm.
He
normal.
politely gives you the money back in your hand and goes, "I'm afraid I can't do anything for you, son. Your energy is your own, and I cannot strip you of that. Otherwise, you'd die in the process." Only
that
someone.
made me feel better.
I do apologize for that, which is why I gave you your refund back.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Yep. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
I suppose I can suggest that maybe daily meditation and finding someone that can contractually take your energy from you would be the best way to get rid of it. I'm afraid my services can only remove curses, poisonings, and general uncleanly thoughts. Not this.
Okay. Well. Yep. Nikolai is okay. Cool. Glad you found somebody you couldn't help. So yeah, have a great day. And he leaves.
Yeah, as you leave, you do hear it behind you. Yes, that will haunt me for the rest of my life, not being able to help someone. And then you leave.
Yeah. Okay. And then I head back to Hythe.
You head back to Hythe, spend more time with Jillian. And honestly, I did like the idea. It's just unfortunately the way it was presented to me. It is a part of you. He can't get rid of it.
It was just interesting to see, Nikolai is screwed. Yay. But no, it's more like, he needs something a little bit more, substantially. Because, kind of just basically morphed his own form from a different person. So, yeah.
Yeah. Entering in to Hythe hasn't been an issue. You do spend a few hours until she's out of her shift, and then you reconnect and rejoin. At that point in time, you likely tell her what you need to tell her. And
Wait, what?
The entire story of, becoming a...
Can I just, I feel like I really wanted to do some little roleplay here. This is or was that your preemptive roleplay before the actual roleplay?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad.
It's all good. You likely are getting into it, getting ready to explain what exactly is going on, why you didn't receive her messages, and what's truly in your mind. When all is said and done, but not everything is said and done, what do you say?
It's good to see you again. Glad that I got back. I found this spell scroll that I was looking for. It seems interesting. But do you want to go somewhere to eat and just kind of spend the evening together, and then we could talk about things?
Of course. You did say you were going to discuss a few things.
Yeah.
You can tell that she's a little worried, but not heavily worried.
It's nothing. Nah, it's just I want this to work out, and I want to know how you feel about the whole situation. So,
more than willing to hear these words then. You begin to enter into a nice restaurant area, nicely lit, but not so lit that it isn't romantic.
I think it'd be better to have like a more casual sitting space, so it's not like too. I mean, yeah, it's good to be romantic, but yeah.
You go into a TGI Fridays and get rid of the, the lighting.
God. Okay.
Yeah. You go into a nice hangout spot rather than something heavily romantic. A
Gotcha.
good place to hang out and catch up, but like not so much that you can expect to be there the entire evening.
Gotcha. Well. Okay. Well, you just gotta say it, and then it happens. So, I made a bad decision. I mean, I made a lot of bad decisions, but this was probably the worst. Anyways, when I was in that festival, there was a festival happening down in I can't remember the town. It was a little town. It's like the words Yapta, where the market is and all the different people. There was a vendor that was he was selling different cards, and well, I felt like the decision is that I thought I was gonna do something for fun, and turns out he had a deck of magical and mystery things, and pulled one of the cards from it.
All right.
And it ended up being a wish spell. But I only had a minute to decide on what I wanted to wish for. So, honestly, I don't know why I didn't wish for like something where like a scenario where your father was not as a horrible person, or like something where our relationship worked out, or I don't know. I felt like I wished that the person that caused me so much trouble in my life was kind of just, I had all the abilities that he had, and that made me stronger, but it also corrupted me and turned me into something again. Into, gonna mess it up, but I'm just gonna say a demon. Devil? Demon? I always mess it up. A devil. I probably messed that up, but anyways, I'm not human anymore. Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
So,
You would have said the correct thing.
yeah. So, yeah, I feel like it's starting to get to me, but I know that there's something that I either have to learn how to control it, or I don't know what's gonna happen. So, yeah, and but the festival was nice, and I thought I'd just spend more time with you as you're recovering, and I don't know how you're gonna take that. But,
Nikolai,
yeah.
go ahead and roll first insight and then persuasion with advantage.
Insight?
Yeah.
11.
You can tell Jillian is thinking about something pensively. You're not exactly sure what, though.
Persuasion advantage.
Yeah.
27.
Didn't even need it. You explain to her the situation at hand, what is to come and what might come. Worried about what might happen in the future, and worried about what is currently happening now. It is very hard to read her, but not so hard that you aren't able to explain why you didn't come into contact with her. And for the most part, she does understand the pensiveness of not wanting to deal with a problem that was made. Looking towards her, you can tell she's taking it in, and she's not like running away or getting out her blade to murder you, but she is pensively thinking on your words. She soon enough does say, however.
Yeah, I definitely would have ordered like drinks and stuff, and then so that she had something to like Yeah, I don't know, just
Yeah, for
more
sure it's
casual.
there. For sure it's there. After taking a good swig of her drink, she does look towards you and she does state, I understand, Nikolai. It's very hard to not be tempted by power.
I think the worry was that I was tempted because I didn't have any power after I finished the contract, and it was so hard for me to try to get all the learning and power back that I felt like if I wished for the power that the person took from me, then it would be so much easier. And yeah, the easy thing isn't always the best thing.
I mean, I can understand wanting the strength the person that hurt you has, but in turn, you gain that exact strength. The power to hurt someone. The power to potentially destroy yourself. I am sorry I wasn't there to help you in that moment. And I'm glad you told me this, but why did it take so long? Weren't we supposed to be something?
Well, I guess half of it was probably you said you weren't gonna be able to talk because of you were in therapy, and then I was at the festival, and then the other half was me feeling sorry for myself.
Persuasion disadvantage. You're probably still gonna roll well, but that is not a good enough reason.
I mean, oh gosh.
I mean, you have a +8. I'm pretty sure you're gonna get like a what, 15?
But then I would I guess I felt sorry for myself, and I didn't want you to see me as like some kind of horrible person that I was like gonna hurt you or be corrupted, and I couldn't fix it, and then I wasn't gonna be able to do anything about it. So
Even more disadvantage.
thank you, I appreciate that. I'm
You
not
can't get
good at
more
talking right
disadvantage.
now.
No, it's
I
fine.
can't.
It honestly would be what Nikolai would probably do, but at the exact same time, you're giving so little credit to Jillian's character.
Credit? Oh yeah. I mean, Nicola's in it like I don't know. Yeah, 14s are decent.
14s are decent, but not 15, which is my subtle hint of telling you. But it has been a few days.
Oh, did you want me to roll?
I'm just telling you, it has been a few days, and you rested. It's been 5 seconds.
I don't think it's gonna replace it.
Okay.
I feel like there's like some kind of special thing that I just need to kind of like if there's a reason that she's gonna get mad at me, I feel like the roll determined it. So
I suppose that's fair. And it's not mad. It's more insulted, which is potentially worse. Jillian does look towards you. Hand in hand, you're still eating your food as well. But hand in hand, she does state, I understand wanting time, and I get it. But I am also here. I thought we were part of each other's lives, and yeah, I needed time to recuperate, but it's not as if I didn't want you to call. Otherwise, why would I keep the stone? And yeah, again, you could have called. You didn't have to talk about the problem, but you never did.
okay,
And
so I'm
I
learning.
Being afraid of what I would say, but did you honestly think I'd treat you differently if you were a little bit different?
I mean, I guess I'm stupid like that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I know from now on that I need to regardless if it's something that I don't want to talk about, I still should keep in contact because I know I care about you. So, yeah.
Persuasion flat roll.
Yeah. But it's not like I didn't. I don't want. I want to talk about things just because I know it's open. I'm open about whatever we're wanting to talk about, and it's not like I didn't bring anything back either.
What do
That
you
was
mean
a
by that last part, by the way?
Oh, that was I was that was going into the next conversation, but
I need more context clues on that.
I haven't exposed it yet, so.
Fair enough. Man, I can't tell you if that's a success or not because I don't know how clear that last missive was.
I'll add a 1 to that, or whatever it is. There we go, 18.
Wondering what you mean. A good enough success. What do you mean by that?
Oh, so I decided that after all of my travels and all of the things that I've done, I wanted to keep some memories that I've done and all the things that I've able to do with me. So I had the scarf made, and I pull out the scarf.
Yeah, you pull out a nice, very distinct craft, very, very high-end creation.
And I thought if I had the memories placed into the scarf, then you could always remember me as the things that I am and the people that I've been around and the things that I've done. And you can have it with you wherever you go.
Some of that doesn't gel well with her, but some of it does. One last persuasion roll, flat roll.
Jeez. There you go.
Nice.
There. That was the first natural 20 I rolled all session.
She does look towards it, and she is not very materialistic. This entire reason why she joined the police force. Well, not one of the reasons. Anyways, she does look towards it, and rather than some of the way you phrased it was a little off-putting towards her, but she got the intent and what you meant by it.
Yeah.
It is very lovely.
Yeah. And I don't want to put the sole idea of it being a material thing, but I think the idea that you can have a memory and then always hold on to those things is the more important part.
Of course. Nikolai, I understand the fear. I dealt with it all my life, but that doesn't mean you have to deal with it alone.
Okay. I will do better at dealing with the problems that I have with those around me and not by myself.
She does nod by this. Glad to understand and hear those words. Little worried that you might push back against them. But throughout...
So am I.
Throughout the conversation, you can tell that you more or less are at peace and at rest. And so long as you don't hold something back towards her due to fear of losing her, or her changing her mind against you, you should be fine. Jillian, from what you can tell and now fully know, which I thought was clear beforehand, but I guess not, is a very
good at relationships.
caring and insightful person. She wants to be there for someone, but at the exact same time won't force them if they don't want to. At the exact same time, though, she is willing to hear you out, willing to understand if the other person is willing to understand and hear them out in turn.
So, interestingly enough, I don't know how many weeks left. So how about I spend the rest of that time just like working out and talking to Jillian
Yeah.
and just like working out, telling her the ins and out of all the magical things that I've learned, the stories that I've been, the places that I've been, the monsters that I've fought, the people that I've lost, the people that I care about, and the people that I want to protect, and tell her that that's the things I want to do, and I'm torn between trying to solve those things and wanting to be with you, because if I was chosen or am chosen now by some kind of ethereal person from an underground old civilization, I have to figure out how that works. So I tell her that too. So
Yeah. You guys spend time catching up and things of that nature, and it is good. It is pleasant. Showing your compassion towards one another, showing vulnerability. It's a very good and interesting way of building the more or less lost time and connection. You spend your weeks with her, and it is a pleasant time. No one has tried to murder you yet, so also bonus.
oh, cool.
But who knows what will happen after you leave the city?
I'm not leaving the city.
I'm never leaving. However, on the last day before heading out or finishing the contract, you do like more or less everyone in hand in this room currently has like those popper things you pop whenever you celebrate something. And then like Himda begins to clap, and so does everyone else. The finalized paperwork for Fauna has been, stamped and approved. And Luck begins to hug her new daughter. Amara is kind of glad that she's not the youngest, and then realizes that Fauna is 22, and now sad that she is still the youngest, but taller than her.
Yes.
Whisper does state, in all seriousness, congratulations, Fauna. I'm glad you found a family. Thank you. But with that, do you want to tell them, or should I? Or Ada? I'll let anyone else take this.
Okay, what?
Yeah, what are we?
You will be leaving in the next few days, and you have to tell your parents.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes,
I will take this.
It looks
I will
like a
take this.
family matter here, so.
I will take this one.
Good. I'm gonna ruin the mood.
Yeah, we will be having to leave here soon. There are a great many things that we still need to do. Not only for ourselves, but as well as others. So I really wish that we could stay longer, but
your mom more or less begins to be upset and like, really, sweetheart? It can't be like a week or two now. We can definitely like hold off and postpone a few things we need to do, so spend more time. And then Himda quickly interrupts. Now, dear, you obviously know he does have his things to do. We more or less understand these things. That being the case, though, I'm sure he'll be back soon.
yes, I will be back soon. And hopefully, I can't make any promises. The next time that I'm back, I will be coming back with Sparkle. I am hoping.
Nah, I'm not gonna give you the same warning. Immediately.
No.
Your mom
No.
bursts into tears. Your father holds her tightly and deeply. Aurora smacks you in the head. Fauna also does it because she's not sure if that's a thing families do. And Himda goes, maybe no. No, you knew what you were doing. Well then.
No. I'm hoping it. I'm not going to make any promises. I may come back 1 or 2 times, but I am working on getting her back, bringing her back.
Like these aren't tears of sorrow; these are tears of joy. But Aurora just slaps you in the head because you just made Mom cry.
Oh yeah, no, most definitely. No, and I'm going to accept it. And tonight I'm actually going to break out some of the dragon meat.
Yeah.
For dinner.
Go ahead and roll your cooking tools.
Oh, come on. I want a better roll than I want a better roll than that.
Let's see.
Can I use minor wish and
I
just
was there. I
re-roll
would have been
that?
able to give you more skills.
Yes, I will allow it.
I am going to use minor wish to re-roll that because that was crap.
That was.
You use minor wish and have Fauna come into
That's a little better. I can accept that a little bit better.
Except the 12.
It takes a little bit of time more than expected, so your sisters come in to help you out. You do a little bit better. Just for fun, I want to see what Fauna gets. She now has a +2 to cooking.
That's one.
Wow. Wow.
She makes a good side dish. Yeah, she makes a good side dish to help complement the.
Dust probably feels like he's inferior at this point. He's like, "What the? She just joined the family. She's doing better cooking than me."
Now it's more like Fauna made a salad, and she's good with nature, so that does make sense.
Oh, okay.
It evens out the food to a 14, maybe 15 total, and people do enjoy the meal. This is exotic food that not a lot of people do eat, so it is plentiful, it is great, and it is grand. A little more gamey than people expected, but when you explain it was a dragon, it's like, yeah, understandable. People do enjoy their night, though. Gretel then
without Nikolai being there.
Hey, that was Nikolai's choice to go.
I know.
To be perfectly honest, Luck would state that next time we should do this with your friend that's currently gone. And Gretel does state, yeah, about that, I'm not going to be joining. No offense. This was kind of a job for me. But you all can enjoy yourselves. She already finished your food and looks towards you, Dust. If you need anything else, just let me know. Here's my business card. I am honestly a traveler, so business card will do you no good. You just have my name.
I'll see if I can find you if I need any other help. But thank you. You helped a great deal.
Yeah. Honestly, keep up with your studying. You should be fine.
Thank you.
You can sleep.
Yeah.
Because again, it was honestly just business.
Oh, yeah, no, literally, she was just along to teach me the how to use Tinker's tools.
Yeah, but she was always going to stay for free food.
Oh, yeah.
But you enjoy your meal and begin to set up for the coming days. You gear up, have everything in order. If you decide to keep your magical instruments or give them out, is entirely up to you, Dust. But you definitely have time to do it. Whisper and Opal are honestly the first ones to pack because they are quick about it. Opal was usually a traveler to begin with, and Whisper generally has to leave lightly, so she doesn't carry many things. Before you head out, your parents and your sister do greet you. Same with Himda. Fauna does look towards your mom, and she does. I want to see if she understands the concept. She understands it. She gives your mom a big hug, and more or less looks up towards her. I'll be back with Dust and friends, and maybe my grandma. She gives her a very big hug, pinches her cheeks, and gives her a kiss on the forehead. I'm sure you will, dear. Just make sure you come back and visit family as much as possible. Looks towards Dust and Ada. Whenever we aren't saving this material plane? Yeah.
Yeah.
Your mom just looked towards her and goes, "Oh, I remember when I was that imaginative at this age. Just make sure you come back home safely." Okay. Then like rejoins the group. Himda then looks towards you guys. Well, it's been an honor having you here, but at the exact same time, you've been putting one of my sections in a bit of a hassle, having them to build 2 different areas at the exact same time. So Dusk, make sure you make your own forge. By the way, here's some of the information I found on Warforges. Gives you a book. Maybe that'll help you out.
Oh, thank you. And yes, no, I actually, with one of the items that I created during this time period, I could potentially make a traveling forge.
Excellent. Forges are expensive. Having them travel with you are even better.
Oh, yes.
Your father gives you a very big handshake. Your mom gives a very big bear hug. Aurora gives you like one of those sibling side pat hugs until your mom pushes her to actually give a genuine hug.
I would have got in for the genuine hug.
Yeah, same.
So,
and Himda also in turn handshake, then comes into an actual hug, and handshakes all around towards the rest of the team. Himda then states, "All right then, good luck with what you need to do, Dust, and with going and meeting your friend as well."
yes. We'll be on our way, and hopefully everything goes well. And with Himda, she would have a sending stone, correct?
Your sister made a Dust roll 1d12 plus 3.
Oh, I had enough for 8, but okay. 1d12 plus 3. Wow.
That's
Um,
really
Reroll
bad.
that.
No. It's fine.
Okay.
You have 8. You just have 4 extra.
Oh, okay. So I have 12. Okay. But I would have known that Himda, she has her own sending stone,
Oh,
correct?
for sure. You get
Yeah.
the symbol that is on her stone, so you can connect yours to hers. But yours are like all interconnected, so that's fine.
Yeah. I will give one to my mother.
Makes sense.
I'll also give one to. Well, Ada already has one. I'll give one to Fauna. I'll keep one for myself. And I'm gonna give one to my little sister too.
Yeah, okay. I'm not gonna roleplay this out, but your mom calls every day. At least for 5 minutes.
Oh yeah.
But it's always like unintrusive unless it's intrusive. More on that maybe later. However, you hand out some stones here and there. Obviously, your father wouldn't say anything because your mom has one. You connect yours with Ada, so she's connected as well. And you begin to head out. Everyone does greet you, and along the way on the road, cousins, neighbors, people you grew up with, and some strangers that you've aren't strangers anymore since you've been here a month and a half, at the very least, maybe 2 months. Heading out, you begin to say your goodbyes and hellos and goodbyes again. Heading on your journey, heading towards Nikolai, you collect your either horses or camels. Probably horses. You can exchange the camels for horses. With a trader, that's not really an issue. And you make way towards where this all began. I want to say, since Dust, you've traveled there before quite literally from this city, you can make it within the time that Dust also made it. Sorry, that Nikolai also made it. So you don't really need to travel that long and that far. However, along the road, do you call out the name of the weapon you made?
Yes, I will be. I will be calling that out.
Okay. Well,
I will etch it into the. I will essentially etch it into the blade as a naming sense, and with that, I will call it out.
all right. With the final engraving and the name called out, the contract is complete. And we'll figure out what that means next time as we end the session for today.